morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get right to it in the NBA last night. Cleveland, Golden State, they continue their winning ways. Cleveland takes on Memphis at home last night, and it was pretty easy. Kyrie Irving didn't play. Marc Gasol didn't play due to rest. You guys know how I feel about rest, man. I just think that's a ridiculous reason to sit out, man. I don't bear witness to players sitting out just because. Listen, they get paid good money. They play half a year. There's enough rest in between games, or it's just enough. I don't see why star players have to take off. Especially when you got a dad or a mom that saves their hard-earned money to take their family to the game to see maybe some of their favorite players, and then they sitting out. I don't understand it. They get to the arena, they got their jersey on. I'm sure there were some kids at that arena that had a Kyrie Irving jersey on that was hoping to see their favorite player play, and he's sitting down just because. And then tomorrow night, or is it tonight, Cleveland plays Memphis again, and then LeBron is going to sit out. And what makes that even more tragic in my estimation, that it's a road game. So now LeBron goes to Memphis once a season, and anybody who's a LeBron fan in Memphis that got his jersey, that's bought his sneakers, that excited about seeing him come there and play, when they get there, they're going to be very disappointed to learn that he's not going to play. I don't bear witness to this, man. I don't know how you can stop it or penalize it, man. I don't. I mean, they're trying to accommodate these guys by, not as many 4 games in 5 nights, not as many back-to-back. There's even talks about starting the season now in mid-October so they can stretch the game out, man. I think that, David Stern, he did a lot for the NBA. Don't get me wrong. He did a lot for the NBA. The one thing he did that favored the players, that I think that led up to where we are right now, that if he had an opportunity to do it over again, he would find a better way to do it. And that is, he helped these players become a brand. And I mean a brand. And along with being the brand, the latest style of players have developed some diva attitudes, man. And I'm just not for it, man. I'm really am. I work hard on my job. And I go to work 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I also work above 40 hours each week. And quite frankly, there's some days that I get up for work that I'm tired. I'm fatigued. But I dare myself to call into my boss and say, listen, man, I'm not coming in, man. I need rest today. I just don't see it, man. And I think that when you're on a lower scale like I am compared to these guys, if my level of employment or employers or employees has to come in and work, man, I think they should be able to suit up and go to work too. Listen, I don't know what it is to play 82 games. I don't know the intensity. I don't know the force that comes with the physicality that's behind it. No, I don't know that. What I see is that there's some guys in excellent shape, excellent condition. I see some guys that's making a living off of childhood dreams that is also fun for them as well. I see them making an awful load of money. That and not just on the game itself, but off the court. In the case of a LeBron who sells sneakers, I just think that, and this is not picking on LeBron or anybody like that. It's just the system itself. I think it's broken. I'm not for people sitting out for rest. I think it's horrible. I think it's disrespectful to the fans that come and play. If you want to find rest for these guys, well, what you do, you ask them don't hang out between games. Maybe you go ahead and beat your opponent up so bad that, Your coach don't have to play you in the second half or at least the fourth quarter. I mean, listen, I have a job. I know I can't be out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning if I think I'm going to be able to get up and go to work and be effective. Well, it's the same thing with them. I don't have a curfew for I don't have a curfew, but I do put a curfew on myself. I mean, even if I'm home just watching TV, there's a certain hour that I don't go beyond so that I can get some rest and be prepared for work the next day. And I suggest that, man. I mean, I'm not suggesting that these guys is hanging out and to the wee hours in the morning. No, I'm not saying that. But set a time frame for yourself so you can get some rest. The thing is, most of us get up and go to work at 7 in the morning. You guys are playing at 7:30, 8 o'clock, man. You guys got a chance for a power nap. So I just don't buy this rest. And again, it comes with the diva attitude that comes along with it. I may be of the minority, that's fine. But I stand strong with the minority that I don't bear witness to this rest. And I think something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be said about it. Because it's not fair. It's not fair to the fans. It really isn't. And then it's not fair to those who played the game before you that never thought about sitting out for rest. These guys played every game, no matter what, bandaged up, didn't have some of the latest equipment that you guys may even travel with. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Maybe it's not for me to understand because I'm not physically in that arena. I'm just a spectator, but this rest day, I don't bear witness to it. I don't. We're moving right along. Cleveland continued their winning ways, beating Memphis. Big night for LeBron, Kevin Love, and J.R. Smith stepped up in the absence of Kyrie Irving. They all had over 20 points apiece. OKC, they continued their winning ways. They beat New Orleans in a pretty close game, man. It may have came down to the final minute where, believe it or not, Kevin Durant blocked the shot of Anthony Davis. So it was pretty intense game there. They pulled it out by 4. They were led by Curry. He had 30. Kevin Durant, he chipped in 27, and Klay Thompson had 17. So it was a pretty hard-fought game. New Orleans has to be one of the most disappointing teams. I don't know what's going on over there. Just a couple of years ago, there was a number 8 seed in that season that Golden State went on to win the championship. They had a great first-round matchup against Golden State, and now from that point on, we've been sitting back and waiting for them to take the next step. Alvin Gentry comes over there. He replaces, I believe at the time, Monty Williams. And I haven't seen no growth over there. Anthony Davis, one of the brightest young stars of the league. He's been in and out of the lineup. But not much really to talk about there. There's something is hindering them or hampering them from going to the next level. I do think that they need maybe some shooters over there. A good wing player, a 3, but I don't understand what's going on, man. They should be in a better position than what they are, but they're not doing too well. They're a pretty disappointing team. Another disappointing team for me is Minnesota. Tibbs comes over there. I was expecting big things. They got a nice little young nucleus. I listen to a lot of sports, NBA talk, NBA radio. And word is, man, Andrew Wiggins is not a hard worker. Like, he's not the gym rat and this and that, and that's a shame. This guy came in, if that's the truth, that's a shame. He came in with so much promise, maybe the early comparisons, but it's a shame because he's got a load of talent. And if that's the case, man, he's too young for that, man. And what's going to happen is Tibbs is going to ride him, man. Tibbs is going to ride him. Tibbs is kind of old school. I don't know if Tibbs is the right coach for this team, but yeah, this here is very disappointing. Although Minnesota did go into Chicago, Tibbs' former playground, and pulled out a win. I mean, a road win at that. So maybe this is the step in the direction they need to go. Get them started. I recall that first year in Miami with LeBron. They came out the gate struggling at 9-8. They went played Cleveland. They won. Team rallied behind LeBron, and next thing you know, man, they got it going from there in 4 straight trips. So maybe going back to the old playground for Tibbs, getting a win on the road like that, maybe this will help bounce his team in the right direction. But right now, they've been very disappointing. Moving along to my New York Knicks, man. Man, what a game last night. It was hard fought, man. A lot of good things came from it, man. They took the L. Listen, they trailed the whole game until late in the fourth quarter, and they got a 6-point lead, and then they went cold. And I don't know what to say. I think Jeff went too long with Baker at the backup point guard. Oh, by the way, Derrick Rose is out again with back spasm. And I want to touch on that before I go a little further. This is why any talks about signing him to a contract is premature at this time. It's premature. He missed last week 2 games, a big game against Cleveland. He misses the second half of this game last night, and now he's probably going to miss Golden State on Thursday night. If he cannot be counted on for 70-plus games, man, I don't care how effective he is when he plays, I don't want to sign him long term, man. Not when you have 3 other point guards coming out. Now, I'll take a chance on Kyle Lowry. And although I think Derrick Rose is the better player, well, at least Kyle Lowry will play 75-plus games. This is a shot in the dark. Curry is a free agent. If they should not win it, or if they feel that they need to keep the bench together and they choose between Curry or Durant and they stay with Durant, and Curry has to go, I want to keep my eyes open for that. I doubt if he leaves Golden State, but I do want to keep my eyes open for that. And then there's Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul is bouncing back. There's some questions about him. Is he the number 1 point guard in the league right now? But the fact is, he's still a top 5 point guard in the game, and he can better your team. And he's probably the guy for the growth of KP. He really is. He's one guy that, as a point guard, that can still get his and set people up in the right spot. And I think Chris Paul has a good 4 years left. A good 4 years left. So all the talks about signing Rose, man, I think that's premature at this point, man. I wouldn't even bother with that, man. That is premature. Yes, you heard it from me. That is premature. So, but getting back to the game, it was the second unit that came on in the fourth quarter for Jeff, and they propelled the Knicks back into it. The Knicks was down 12 in the fourth quarter, and they really propelled the Knicks back into it. But they went with Baker at the backup point guard a little bit too long. I mean, he did a few nice things. He couldn't find his own shot. But what happened was not so much what he didn't do on the court, but by the time he went to the bench, the sweat on the starters or on Brandon Jennings, man, they was dry. It was like they never even played. They was drip dry. So it was almost like they had to start all over again, man. Yeah, you want to keep them going, get them back in while the sweat is still on the body, man. Listen, it's like going into the water, man, whether it's the beach or the pool. Yeah, you fine. You can stay in that water all day long, man. You come out, you run back in. You come out, you go back in. You come out, you go back in. But if you should come out and let your body dry and then go back in, it's like starting all over again, man. You might touch that water, man, I ain't get back in there. You lose your rhythm, man. And I thought he went with that group a little bit too long, man. And as a result of it, man, the starters, when they came back in, they just couldn't find their way, man. If it wasn't for KP and he was in there with that second unit, we probably wouldn't even have gotten into an overtime game. And shout out to KP, man. He had a monstrous game, man. 34 points. Cal O'Quinn, big off the bench. He had a monster game, man. Carmelo, I've seen him play against PJ Tucker before, man. And something about this guy Tucker, man. He's a scrappy player. He's a hard-nosed player. He's kind of a guy that probably could have played back in the 80s and the 90s, man. But yeah, he gets underneath Carmelo's skin, man. He gets the best of Carmelo on the defensive end, man. I mean, I've seen him struggle against this guy before, man. There's something about this guy, man. He just gets the best of Carmelo, man. Carmelo had an awful night, if you ask me. He made a few shots here and there, but it's something about this Tucker guy, man. He gets the best of him, man. And Chandler, he had a monstrous game on the boards. I think he finished with like 24, 25 rebounds, man. It was a good game. It was pretty exciting. Players had to be separated. Some technical fouls was put out there. It was really a good game, man. I mean, it was exciting to watch. Fortunately, the Knicks lost, man. And to me, it came at a bad time because this is a game they needed to have with Golden State coming on Thursday night, man. So now, what was hopes of a 5-0 road trip, no less than 4-1, probably best case scenario is going to be 3-2. Let's avoid the 2-3 because we got to win that game on Saturday against Denver. We have to win that game, whether Rose is there or not. And here's the thing: we carry a lot of big men. We carry a young man by the name of Nadal. We carry Sasha. If Sasha's not going to play in this backup role behind Jennings, then I think we maybe need to put him in street clothes, and bring up this kid Jason Randall out of the D League, man. I think we need a third point guard for sure on this roster, considering some of the missed games that that Rose is going to have. So I think the Knicks need to go to a third point guard. But nevertheless, man, good night of action in the NBA with the limited games. Hey, you got some good football games coming up this weekend, man. Believe it or not, you got a game on Thursday night. The Rams go ahead into Seattle. I mean, normally I would say this is not going to be a good game, man, but look for this to be a good game, and I tell you why, man, because Fisher's been fired. We never got a chance to talk about that. I thought he was the biggest fraud in the NFL, Jeff Fisher. He got fired, deservedly so, and he shouldn't even never had the job. He has done nothing in the NFL to warrant this type of respect. He's done nothing but alienated good quarterbacks. Start with Vince Young. Vince Young had a better record at Tennessee than Fisher had, and then you trade up for Goff, and then you don't even play him. You alienate him. Man. Get him out of here. But look for the interim coach to try to make a statement saying that he wants the job. And then Seattle coming off of 2 losses, 1 bad one against Green Bay. They need to bounce back. So I look for this to be a good game. And then Saturday night, you have a game. Miami heads into MetLife, and they take on the Jets. I mean, Jets coming off of that overtime win. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're better off losing. But anyway, let's see what happens, man. Are they trying to just ride it out, fight for pride? But in any case, Miami is in a dogfight for a playoffs, man. And this is where you got teams that had nothing to lose that's playing spoiler. So you got to keep an eye on that. And then you got a big game. I think Philadelphia goes into Baltimore. So you got to watch out for that. And then Detroit at the Giants. That's going to be a good game. Giants is riding high. Detroit is riding high. That's a clash, man. That's going to be a good game, man. You got Stafford making a run for MVP. Should be a good game. Look out for that. And then Sunday night, you got Tampa going into Dallas. Now, Tampa is one of the hottest teams, 5 games in a row right now. They're one of the hottest teams in football. Well, I tell you what, though, man. Dak needs a bounce-back game, man. I look for some home cooking, some love. This is going to be one to watch, man. I think it's going to be a good game, man. And then you got some other games that's going on, man. Some trap games that you got to be careful with. Monday night, you got Carolina at Washington. I mean, Carolina is clearly not – they're better than their record. It's just a matter of if the record shows up or the team that we seen went 15-1 show up, that went to the Super Bowl. So you got a good a good amount of games coming on this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll be remiss not to shout out Lamar Jackson for winning that Heisman Trophy on Saturday night, man. The guy was special, man. I mean, he just was special this year, man. From start to finish, man. It's a shame that he didn't have an opportunity to compete in the playoff. But nevertheless, he had a special year. You know, look for him to come back next season and do some big things, man. That's going to do it for the show. But keep in mind, please follow me at Troy Ramel Royal on YouTube or either Facebook.com/Chopping It Up with Ramel. And that's ChoppinItUpRamel. Chopping It Up with Ramel. Hey, in the meantime, you guys have a great day. You know my motto. I see you in 24. Y'all have a blessed day, man. Peace and blessings.